What's up, guys? Welcome to the Gamescast special for E3 2019. This is our first one that we're doing this of everything that we've played at E3. I'm Tim Gettys. This is one of the coolest dudes in video games, Greg Miller.
I look like I'm your son.
Why do you look so tiny?
If you're an audio podcast person, definitely go over to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames because we're playing the game of perspective. Lean in like you just did and look at it. Look at how huge you look. I'm like,
whoa. Yeah, it's crazy. We're literally in the hotel room right now, and we're using a webcam that is broken being held up by
Kind of funny receipts. Those are kind of funny receipts.
Kind of funny
I've shoved
receipts.
underneath
There you go.
Nick, when I can't expense report, that's why they're underneath the camera.
Yeah. So we're just gonna have to deal. It's us hanging out in a hotel room.
I mean, this is honestly something. I know it's gonna sound really stupid. Stick with me. One of the things I miss from the old IGN days would be like when it would be, hey, we're doing a podcast beyond after E3, and we would just gather on the floor around a thing. It's very guerrilla, right? And we've talked about it. Obviously, we're doing E3 different this year. It's a different kind of E3, as totally evident by the show floor, which we'll talk about soon enough.
Yeah.
But we didn't send everybody down here, so we're not going to bring Kevin down here to make this work. We got the little recorder, we got the webcam, we got a computer. Everybody just wants to hear us talk. You're going to hear us talk. That's how it works.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't
everyone.
know, this is the Kind of Funny Gamescast. Each and every week, we come to you with all the video games that we've been playing, all the things that we love about video games. And there's no better week for this than E3 week. We're going to be doing these videos throughout the week. Well, actually, there's this one. We're doing one tomorrow, and then we're going to do another one that will be going out on Monday that we're going to record with Easy Allies on Friday.
Right, so if I have it correct, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. The way it's worked, right, is that Gamescast, there isn't a weekly Gamescast because we did a million ones the reviewing the press conferences. Now we're doing this one of what we played on the first day. It'll post Thursday morning.
Yes.
Then Thursday night, we're recording the podcast at GameSpot, which then will go Friday morning.
Yes.
Then Friday, we record
nobody
the
Mike
Easy
will be
Allies.
on that one.
Don't get there. Don't deliver celebrities. You can't.
High hopes.
When I die, that's what you play.
Yes, I will.
And then Monday the Easy Allies one we'll put up. All right, cool.
Yeah, so it's very fun, and it's funny that we're saying that this is our day one, day one of E3.
Right.
No, it's not our day one. We were back at home doing the Nintendo conference, and we flew in. So day two of E3, which really is day 18 of E3. It feels.
And
like.
that's the thing is I know it's hard for if you've never been to an E3 or worked in E3, ladies and gentlemen, to imagine what it's like for the people here. We're walking in, and people are in triage.
Yeah.
I ran into Odell today, kind of funny Games Daily co-host from back in the day, Odell. He had no voice. He's gone. People are exhausted. They've been drinking for 15 days straight here.
Literally.
And we're like, I feel pretty good. Like, I'm tired. Everybody's like, how'd you? And then they hear my travel schedule of EA Play to San Francisco to back here, and they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, you haven't slept in 3 days.
Yeah,
you have it worse than me.
Yeah, no, it has been absolutely insane. But yeah, this was our first full day at E3. Like you said, we're doing a little different. Normally we send the whole team down. This time it was just me and you because it was a smaller show. There was less things to book appointments for and all of that. But we got to do a whole bunch. We got some more stuff to do tomorrow. But I feel like
Tomorrow is a big day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you and I have games on the hour every hour.
But I feel like we got all the big ones out, at least for me.
Oh, sure. I just mean the amount of things we're doing.
Gotcha.
The amount of things we're doing.
I know we did a lot. I know there was an order that we did them. But I want to start with something that a lot of people have been asking about, Greg Miller.
Okay.
And that is xCloud and Google Stadia.
Sure.
You got to do both of them.
Did them both
just
today.
got to do xCloud.
Okay. How about you? If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I'm in the tank for both these. I love the streaming future. I love the idea of that. I want to believe in this technology. I know it's going to have hurdles, this technology, but I've been stoked for them. What did you think of Project xCloud?
I was extremely impressed with the literally 3 minutes that I got to play.
Yeah.
It was at Xbox's, actually Xbox's stage they had for their press conferences where they're letting everyone play their games and stuff. Which
First
is
time
cool.
I've been back on the Microsoft Theater stage since I won my Game Award.
There you go. But it was really cool. There was this table that just had a bunch of controllers on it with different phones attached or tablets attached or, just trying to, the gamut of different options for xCloud, each playing a different game. So there was Forza, there was Halo 5, there was Halo Wars, there was...
that shooter was Halo 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played Halo 5.
Okay, it was one of those, I got over there before you got there, and somebody was on one of them I never got to touch. So yeah, it was Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. I'm sorry, I should say, I played Hellblade, I played Forza Horizon 4, then I saw Halo Wars running, and the other one I never saw, and then there was another one where somebody was running with a melee knife, and I didn't know what that was.
I think they kept changing it, because there was a ton of people playing, and so the thing that was crazy is, for E3, when you go to play games, they're demos. It's not the full game. You go in and there's usually like a menu, like the devs have to kind of go in and play around with, like, okay, now I'm going to hand you the controller. You can do whatever you want. With this xCloud, they're like, no, it's the game that's already out. Like, you can do whatever. So if everyone there wanted to go to the menu and everyone turned on Halo 5, they could have done multiplayer right there.
Wow.
Yeah, and I saw 2 people doing that.
Yeah.
Which wasn't fun to jump into my Halo 5 in the middle of big fight, and I was just like, and I had no ammo. I'm like, well, great.
That was the same thing with Senua's Sacrifice, right? It was clearly like they had just started the game, so like she had like no ability. She was still very tutorialing around. It's like, all right, well, this isn't the best place to demo any of this.
But immediately I was like, oh man, the latency is pretty noticeable. In a bad way. I mean, it's, with a shooter, like you can really tell because of the aiming. You know,
this will come into play when we talk about Stadia more. Worth pointing out the way we were playing it there, right? Controller with a phone locked to it in Wi-Fi mode. They were tethered like USB-C'd, I think, together or whatever. But there was no Ethernet to it. It was running on a Wi-Fi thing they had set up there in a convention center, or not a convention center, a theater, not known for its best reception to begin with.
So for any best friends that saw us show off the Switch grip, Switch grip, that's what it was, where you have the Pro controller and then it can hold the Switch.
Was it not the Switch Fix?
Like
don't you have it right there too?
No,
that's the other one.
The other one.
Wow, you really support the best friends.
It
don't
depends
you,
on the type of game, because that one it doesn't work. It doesn't function as this type of stand.
I look like your toddler.
I love it. Doesn't matter. But it was just a controller with a phone on it.
Sirens are on our end.
What's happening here?
Your mic's just doing that crazy thing, so I'm coming in to be Kevin. I'm Kevin. I'm actually Kevin Size in this the frame.
Oh, I hate it.
Tim, can you get the cookies off the top shelf? He's so small, we hate him.
He loves those cookies. But no, it was weird though seeing Halo 5, which is a very graphic-rich game, on such a small screen.
Sure.
And it's definitely one of those things where a lot of Switch games are made with that kind of UI. Kind of just design choices in mind, and playing Halo was like, no, that's not at all. So like it was difficult to see, but it's like the resolution looked great. The frame rate was perfect. It was just the latency of the controller doing what I needed it to do. But then I went into the settings and I changed the sensitivity of the guns, the axes, and immediately I was like, I found something. I'm like, oh, this feels closer. Still had latency,
sure, but
my mind could be could kind of adapt to it in a way that wasn't annoying. It was just like, oh, okay, this is how this is going to play. And like I said, didn't play for too long, but I was very impressed by the tech. With the main reason being, we were in a giant convention center with a bazillion cell phones, and a bazillion people using Wi-Fi and this and that around. And this was working this well. Like that is situations where our cell phones have issues.
Oh yeah, totally.
With Wi-Fi.
I couldn't load stuff today for sure.
So like for them to have that and have it work that well, I was very surprised by it.
Yeah. I played Hellblade and I played Forza. Hellblade, I felt, and this again is in a non-action oriented part of the game. Not that game's heavy action, but wandering around the thing, finally finding an enemy to fight. I thought it was pretty close. It felt close enough. And again, I'm not the biggest, Hellblade fan or anything, but I didn't notice like a big differential in terms of lag when I was going. I put up some videos on my Instagram and a couple, I think, on Twitter. But even when I got to where I was swinging the blade, that felt good. It felt like it normally feels. When I jumped over to Forza, which of course I'm not a racing person at all, that's where I noticed more lag. Where that was, Forza is such a second-to-second game, racing games are, that it did feel like, okay, cool, like. There was one point, even when I wasn't filming and I was doing, I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna try to hit the e-brake and do this or just turn, and it was like, there was enough there of turning where I was like, okay, like this I do feel, and I do think this is a detriment to gameplay. But again, what you're saying, it's all the caveats of we're not in the ideal environment. I'm not playing at my house, but then again, I'd be playing at a hotel, and how would the internet be there, and so on and so forth to that thing. It's the big questions of this thing. Until we have these programs up and running on our own and we can put them through the paces in our real lives, you'll never know. And so I was, again, with Project xCloud, happy and stoked to do it. And I'm still down to have these moments and learning curves and figuring it out. I'm excited for all that. I'm excited for the future with that one. However, then I went and played Google Stadia.
Before you move on, I want to say one last thing about it. I was very impressed with, because everything you just said is absolutely true. There are the caveats, there's all this stuff. But they're nonchalant, just it's on the table.
Yeah, totally.
Like there's no like crazy like vertical slice that you're seeing that's like showing it off in a good way. It's like, no. These are just the games. It's there. You can do whatever you want with it, and it's going to work that way. And it worked as well as it did. I was very impressed with that. And I think that says a lot for how they do things, because we know how they normally control.
Oh, sure, yeah. And that was the thing, is I walked up and I expected it to be like tethered. It wasn't tethered. Like, granted, again, there's like 4 or 5, so it was like they can watch you, so nobody's gonna walk away.
Yeah.
And you're like roped in, but it was still like there wasn't like a hand holding. Let's explain. Let's just like go ahead and try it.
Yeah.
Do this. And there were so many people there that I was blown away that like, because this event is open obviously for media and stuff like that and influencers or whatever you want to say, but it's also just public. So there were so many people walking up and like having to get like, what is this? And I'm like, you don't know about Project xCloud. And it's like, not even like you should, but it's like you think of E3, you think of I'm so into gaming, I'm gonna go to the Xbox event. I would expect you to know like this initiative they're doing and the excitement people were having over learning about it and what it was. Shout out to Bill Wright, the kind of funny best friend who's in charge of Project xCloud,
Very cool.
who was talking to me about everything and like these MFers from Microsoft who already have it.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh yeah. He's like, oh,
I've been using it.
They were saying, he was like, yeah, they were saying something about Sea of Thieves. You can if you log in during this time, and so he just like busted out his phone and logged in. I'm like, you suck. You know what I mean?
Awesome,
like that's awesome. And I'm like, I would love to just be part of that alpha test.
Yeah.
Just to see and go and understand what this is all like. Yeah.
So then you got to go to do the Google Stadia stuff. I had to miss out on this one. My first question.
You had to miss out because I think you went to see Avengers and Final Fantasy. So yeah, what a rough life. What a rough life you have. Tim.
I wanted to see it though. I would have enjoyed that mainly because of the controller. How did it feel?
Controller feels really good. Like
really.
I picked it up and my first thought was like, oh shit, does this not have rumble? Because it feels light. It doesn't feel light like
the 6-axis.
It doesn't feel as light as the 6-axis, but it feels way lighter than a normal controller. It has rumble. Totally has rumble, and you're like, oh man, this is fucking great. And then
the sticks.
I thought they were great.
Wow.
I had no problem with
Okay.
it. I like it was that thing of at no point did I have to look down and worry about it. I picked it up. It felt natural. I was into the game, and it was giving me the normal prompts that you'd expect or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I jumped in with Google Stadia. This is a few hours after doing Project xCloud. Jumped into Google Stadia and played Doom Eternal. The caveats here are I'm playing it on a Chromebook that is Ethernet plugged in, and then we're HDMIing to the TV.
Okay.
And then I have the controller.
Okay.
It was flawless.
Wow.
No, there was no lag. There was nothing. And to give you to give you context. This is my second beer. To give you context, Forza, Hellblade, not my games, right? Like I'm not like versed into that. Doom Eternal is the same Doom Eternal demo I'd done at Judges Week on a 4K monitor. They had a mouse and keyboard. I played with the controller. But you know what I mean? Like I've played this before. I know what the beats are. I know how it should feel. This felt like that. I had no latency issues. I had no lag. I had no artifacting. I had no problems like that. The only thing that I thought was negative about the experience was, and there's a little bit of a caveat to it, the visuals to me looked less than a PlayStation 4 version of what I'd imagine this game to be. Again, I played it on PC, so I don't know. But it felt like colors were more muted, which could be the TV, and could be settings, and a whole bunch of bells and whistles nobody's done. But then it was also just in general, just not fuzz, they said when they sat me down, it was 1080, it was 1080p, it was running on, I think I have my notes over here, 25 megs. I think that's what they said, right? Yeah, 25 megs, 1080p. I just didn't think it was what?
It was running at 25 megs?
Well, that's what it was. That's the connection. The connection was 25 megabits down or whatever. Yeah. It just didn't look as sharp as the PlayStation 4 version of it looks, but it is literally what I'm always talking about. What we always talk about, good enough.
Yeah.
Where I was this, and I'm like, this is awesome. This is what I want out of it. And for me, it was the usual thing I always talk about with how dumb I am, that I really hadn't thought through having an Ethernet version of these. For me, it always is Wi-Fi. I'm going to be playing at the hotel. I'm going to play in an airport. I'm going to be at home playing on Wi-Fi. I was talking to Nate from Xbox, or Nate, formerly of Xbox, now of Google Stadia. He was asking me questions about it because obviously Nate, formerly of IGN, everybody knows Nate. And I was going back and forth with it, and I was just like, this is going to be a dumb question, but as I talked to you, I finally thought of it. Does the ... Ultra thing I'm getting in the Founders Pack does it have an Ethernet port? And he's like, yes, you moron. Yes, it has an Ethernet port. And it's like, wow. So that solves so many issues in terms of how this will run.
I love the
work.
Chromecast Ultra, by the way.
Yeah?
I got 2 of them.
Oh, wow. Okay, this is my first one. I'm very
really
stoked
cool.
about it. As I've said before, and will continue to say, I feel that I am an Xbox fanboy in many ways, in the way that I am cheering for them. I want them to kill it. I think they're doing amazing things with Game Pass, with Project xCloud, so on and so forth, right on down the line. I am more impressed today with Google Stadia than I was with Project xCloud. And granted, maybe it's the setup, right? This was like literally like, all right, cool, here's a controller, sit down and play Doom Eternal on this TV. And I just sat there and played Doom Eternal, and it felt like Doom Eternal did on the PC, and it was just there ready to go. But I played it, and it was like, as I'm holding it and doing it, I'm like, this is literally the future I'm always talking about. And then, not that I'm going to get into that game right now, I'll let you drive your own show because I always stay out of your hair and I never backseat drive. Yeah. Is that I then went and watched the Cyberpunk demo. And like on the heels of that, it's like, yeah, if Stadia works, I'm not going to play Cyberpunk on my PlayStation 4.
What?
If any of these streaming services work the way they say they will, the way they are in test environments, are you fucking kidding me? I'd be an idiot to play it on PlayStation 4 because I can just have my phone, my iPad, my whatever, and have a moment to go screw around and go farm out shit and go buy some stuff and whatever.
Woo, like Cyberpunk, man, that's one of those visual games. Well, I guess I would want to play it on the
that's the thing of like, let's not like, I'm obviously talking in hyperbole. It could very easily be that when we get Cyberpunk, and if I was like, I'm gonna play it on this, what the fuck is that screen? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, there's a million different things and things, but.
I think that has a lot to do, though, about your experience of xCloud versus Stadia, though. Is the xCloud, we were playing on these tiny little things. And even a laptop screen, that is more like a TV, like playing Doom.
Oh, sure.
I imagine
that's my
Doom
thing.
This would look.
I mean, like when I get my iPad, whatever version I have, the giant one.
The Pro, yeah.
Yeah, when that is all ready to go, and it's just like, bloop. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
like, I know that I want to believe, and I know that it's not going to be like that. You know, I do, but like.
We'll see.
It's also not going to be like that at launch.
Yeah.
And I think down the line. And it's I hate the fact that like I tweeted about how amazing I thought today was and all these different services, and it was like immediately just trying to dunk on you with like, oh, what about the data cap? I'm like, they're going to figure that out. They're going to figure this out. And I'm not smart enough to tell you how, and maybe they won't. Maybe it'll all be fucked up. But like,
I guarantee they will.
We're in such an exciting fucking spot right now. Yeah. And that's the thing. For an E3 that I think we've been like, all the conferences are, all right, they're good. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're good, cool games, whatever. But outside of Keanu Reeves, not like, what the fuck, maybe Banjo, but like, what the fuck moments? I'm leaving this show being like, this is, I mean, again, this is, I know I want this, but like, I want this, and I can't even imagine the future where it's like, cool, we're going to Florida for a week, and it's like, cool, Stadia controller and the Chromecast in my bag. Not my PlayStation 4, not the game screen, not whatever. And it's like, when we're killing time at the airport, it's the iPad that I switch over from comics, and it is. I'm going to do something, play Tetris, whatever the hell it's going to do. And then jump over to the real thing.
I feel like the word of the day is caveat when it comes to these things. But
well,
like,
I mean, to be fair, it's because it's unproven tech. It's because we are trying to do due diligence, as I drink these beers, and say, like, we know this isn't the real condition. You know what I mean? I know this isn't exactly what it's going to be all the time. You don't want to oversell this, but again, the fucking potential of these things.
I mean, my thing is I think that there's room for all these things to coexist. I don't know that this is ever going to replace our main gaming habits, but it reminds me a lot of the Switch of like, Doom runs on the Switch. Yeah. Doom is on the Switch.
Also, worth pointing out, if I may, I talked about this during the press conferences, so you've seen it in the review, I think, of where Doom Eternal, when they were like, oh man, failing is part of Doom, and like, you know, blah, 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 blah. Like, I played Doom Eternal today, you know, my second time now, and like literally I'm like, I'm going to download Doom to the Switch when I get home. So I can actually...
And the thing with Doom is like, it is a game that's, I feel like, a lot better when the visuals are there and the speed is right in the frame rate and everything. But it's like, it works fine enough on Switch to the point that it's fun to play on the go. And it's like, that is a different experience than playing it on a 4K TV and all that stuff. But I feel like with Stadia and with xCloud, that could be the same thing. It's like, okay, it's not the ideal way to play it, but it is another option.
But I just feel like it's going to be, we're not underselling it, and again, we're talking in hyperbole and we're talking potential, which is always so rough. If I'm at home and it's plugged into my Ethernet and I'm getting that blazing speed I pay for, and it is great and awesome, and when I go on the road and it is a little bit less, right? It's not going to matter. There's your computer doing some kind of update. You're kind of funny. I won't care about that. In the same way of like, oh, it's so small to see on the screen, right? Like, what would have been interesting, and I know it's pie in the sky or whatever, if one of the things would have been, hey, on the xCloud, you're playing The Division, where it's like, I can draw. Right now from memory, I can tell you button combinations to get where I need to be. Dropping me into Forza, where I'm like, how do I change perspective? And I'm fucking around. Like that's a different thing. Where again, to your point of what your main time with the game is going to be. I think even with Cyberpunk right now, where I'm watching the demo and there's so much shit going on. 30 hours into Cyberpunk, I'm not going to be as lost trying to look at it on my phone and know where I'm getting to.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Where do you want to go from here? You want to stay in the Xbox realm? Close that guy out a little bit?
Sure.
Because, so we went in, we did xCloud. Did you do something before Microsoft?
Yes.
What'd you do? Let's start there, I guess.
I have comprehensive notes of. Well, yesterday, the first thing I did, of course, was we landed, dropped off our clothes at the thing, and then I went and saw a little boy named Mike Biffle, who's putting out a game called John Wick Hex. That hexagonal gameplay, everybody's like talking about an XCOM kind of thing. As you know, I haven't watched John Wick movies. Action movies, not that great. Worthless. They should all just be superhero movies. But as you know, audience members, of course, we love Mike Biffle. Mike Biffle, of course, Thomas Was Alone, Volume, all the circular games. A supporter of Kind of Funny from way back in the day when he did Volume. He was one of the first, for ethics' sake, he was one of the first people to support us on the Patreon level to promote Volume and stuff. We loved him before, we loved him after. It's cool to see him have this kind of game, right? John Wick game with Keanu Reeves images in it. I played this one. I really enjoyed this one. Of course, PC announced consoles of some kind. They're not ready to announce that. Coming, I think it's just coming down the road. That's all they have right now. No release date yet. How much do you know about it? You saw the trailer, I assume?
I didn't. I saw the trailer, and I've heard good things of people saying that they enjoyed it.
So imagine, again, the hexagonal stuff. You're moving the character around. What I want to do is, they call it a timeline strategy game, which I think is really funny, right? And it's true. At the top, you have these two timelines. There's the John Wick timeline, and then enemies when you run into. And so every action you take has like a setup time, and every action they take has a setup time, and then it's the action themselves.
Interesting. So it's kind of like a Fire Emblem, like strategy RPG mixed with like an active time battle thing of a Final Fantasy.
Right, because it's turn-based and you can stop it. You stop at any point and survey what you want to do. It's not turn-based in terms of like, it's your turn, it's their turn. It's the timeline.
Yeah.
Like you make your move and you see that you hover over your things and you see that if you want to do a takedown, it's going to be faster than, or a takedown will take longer than shooting or parrying or...
Okay, so then just for the audience that will call me out on this, it's not the active time battle. It would be like the Final Fantasy X style of battle.
I just wish I knew any of these things.
Yeah, I'll let you know. What I'm saying makes sense.
I'll keep describing it, and then you go. Yeah. Anyways, though, you make your choices. You see how many seconds it costs you. You see all these different things at the top. And at the first, it's overwhelming. Then you get the hang of it. You understand it. And it's all about sight lines. So, like, you can be coming through, and of course, you can spin the camera however you want, zoom in, zoom out, all that jazz. You can make the choice to advance like all the way forward as far as you can see, and then if you're going and suddenly somebody gets a sight line on you, it stops. And so it's like, now what do you want to do? Like, it's not like you're committed. Like, I feel like in XCOM you would be committed, and I may be rusty on XCOM. You'd be committed to going all the way through with that motion you chose. This one is like, oh no, John Wick's going to respond to that. How do you want to respond? And so you can make moves on people, and then if they see you fall back behind cars, you can crouch, you can get up. And there's pluses and minuses to all this shit, and it's this very strategic timeline game, right? Of balancing out how you want to do it and what moves you want to do. One of the things I like is that you have the custom pistol John Wick uses, I guess, in the movie, and so you can pick up other people's guns, right? And then you'd have their guns. Maybe you could get ammo from the other guns, but then you drop your other custom pistol. They put real world limitations on it, right? So it's not like a video game. So you have a clip, let's say you have a clip of 10 bullets, right? And you shoot 2 and you have 8 in the chamber. If you switch magazines, you waste that magazine. Like, you waste those 8 bullets. You don't have those in your arsenal anymore. So like, you actually have to keep track of your arsenal, your bandages, your focus that allows you to be John Wick. We can move faster like that. I dig it. Even not being a John Wick fan, this is the kind of strategy game I'd like to play when it comes out to a console, of course. I'm not going to play it on PC. Calm down, everybody. But what I really thought was cool and what they're announcing at E3 that's cool is, I guess, when they showed the thing, right, and you think about this, strategy game, slow pace, you make choices, which is actually really cool because then you're in the mind of John Wick, right, of like how he'd actually handle these situations. I guess there was blowback. This is already playing what I'm about to say. There was blowback, though, from people of like, what the hell, like, that's not how John Wick is. He's fast. He's fluid. At the end, when you actually complete the mission, there's a watch the replay, and you watch it without any of that. So it is
cool.
Like in the the gun foot, and I was like, that's really cool. Like, that was a really cool idea.
Awesome.
Yeah, really liked what I saw. I think that's going to be a really good one for it. Yeah. I hit all my points on that. Then I saw xCloud. because we're at Microsoft, and now we're at Microsoft.
Yeah.
We played a game called Bleeding Edge
Bleeding
together.
Edge, Ninja Theory's new game. It is a 4v4 multiplayer, well, obviously, 4v4.
Isn't it 3v3? It was you, me, and Jeff playing versus
Yeah.
another team of 3.
Wait, was it? No, it was 4, dude.
Was it? Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure we're not in trouble. Keep going.
Yeah,
I'll verify.
yeah.
You know, I think
mean,
you might be right.
It was me, you, and Jeff. Like, who else would have been with us?
Yeah, I never heard anybody be like.
Yeah, so maybe it was 3. I might be confusing this with the game I played later. But
Fair.
anyways, 3v3 or 4v4. It's one of the two. Melee based. We saw it first at the Microsoft press conference, and it's melee focused, and it is it reminds me of Overwatch a lot, both in characters and in being able to switch between rounds, what character you are, or like even deaths, what character you are, and the kind of King of the Hill style objective based. Do this thing as a team, like you have to focus on, risking it.
You're right, 4v4. I have no idea who the hell else was playing with us.
Yeah, I remember there was the four
You're right, I
screens.
guess. Yeah.
Anyways, I thought this game was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Like with the pedigree of Ninja Theory, like I knew it was gonna feel good, but I feel like this game really kind of has learned from these games in the past that have come out. Even like things like For Honor. I think that they looked at that and were like, oh, let's take things we like from this, speed it up a little bit, add that Ninja Theory flair. And it's clear that people that are making this game are a fan of Overwatch and the things that make that special, both characters with unique abilities and looks and all that stuff, and keeping it simple. So there's not like a million different things to figure out. It's like Smash Brothers. If you know how to play one character, you know how to play all the characters.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of finding which one's specials that you like more and recovery move you like more. And this does not throw too much at you. It's just kind of like, hey.
That was my
choose a
biggest thing
character.
is for jumping into a demo and we ran through a tutorial, then it was screw around with the characters in the dojo, and then I was like, all right, let's go play a match. Jumping in there and having it be that pretty much, no, I shouldn't say pretty much, everything you can do is on the screen. Right, you have your 3 special moves down here. You know that X is going to do whatever basic attack you have to build up your specials. Then you have your giant special up here. It was like, okay, cool, like you're saying, I get it. And I was maining El Bastardo or whatever his name was with the knives, who was like a heavy attack guy. But I felt like I could have jumped into other characters. I didn't for the gameplay match we were doing, but you were encouraged to. I did a bunch of the different dojos.
The demo that we did started off where we do a tutorial that was really, really quick. It was just kind of to give you the basic ideas of how it controls, and it controls exactly how you think it would. It felt very, very good.
Yeah.
Then you get into the dojo, which is kind of like, there's just a couple dummy enemies that you can just face off against. But you can instantly, using the D-pad, switch between the different characters. So if you hit up or whatever, it'd pull up the character select screen, and you can go in, no loading, no anything. It would just, boom, your character's in, and you can play as the different characters. And that is so important because it's so overwhelming when you see there's 16 different characters and I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
The way that they organize them is similar to Overwatch again, where it's kind of like by their different classes.
Yeah, there was support, there was heavy, there was range.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then getting in there, like, immediately I was like, oh, I don't like this character. Backed out, got a different one. I was like, oh, I wish this one had a bit more speed or whatever. Then the one I ended up with, I'm like, oh, this is what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And it's so simple, but I feel like the thing this game has going for it is it's got the design philosophy down. Like, it knows what it's trying to be, and I think it's doing a really good job of learning from some of the best to put it all together.
It felt like it had answers to the problems or questions I was coming up with. Where when I was starting it for El Bastardo, right, like he has this like leap attack. And so I did it, and I was like, "Oh, that's really hard to aim or figure out." Like, and then I was like, "Oh, right, no. Earlier they taught me about lock on. I wasn't locked on. Lock on. Sure enough, you don't have to do anything. He's gonna go to who you're locked on. And it's like, okay, great. I understand it better.
I thought it was really cool. I think that it succeeded where ARMS didn't in the same type of thing. It reminded me a lot of Power Stone from back in the day, that level of chaos. But it definitely has this like polish to it and the cool factor that I was like, oh man, this playing it and seeing the gameplay was a lot more impressive than the trailer that we saw.
Sure, that's fair.
I will say though, it's like the match itself, it did get really chaotic, and when all the characters are in one place, which is often, it's hard to understand what you're getting hit by. And like, you know who's on your team because like they're glowing the different color.
Yeah.
But there, at any point there could be 8 melee characters doing crazy attacks around each other, and it gets, I think, a little bit of a just nuisance. And there was many moments where I thought I was like beating someone else and they were beating me.
Yeah.
Or the opposite, and I was like, that's not
damage was definitely a problem. Or for one of El Bastardo's moves, right, he can put on basically the shield from Guardians. Where so I had like the hexagon blue thing over me, and it was that thing I'd activate, and then I was like, am I taking damage or am I giving it? Like, it was that what is exactly happening, right? I'm not getting that feedback that's very obvious by watching. And there's a meter obviously for your health that eventually you have to glance at, but I wasn't getting if I was winning or losing in a fight.
But I can definitely see the potential of when a team gets together that has their roles.
Oh my God, yeah, totally.
Even Jeff, one of our guys that works at Microsoft.
You know him, Zombie Blognack, Jeff Rubenstein.
Yes. He was our support, and he was killing it. He was healing us left and right, and it made it feel like way more of a experience than just us jackasses running out slashing.
Sure. But do you think you'd play it like on your own?
On my own, probably not, just because I would prefer that in single player form.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that it could be a cool party mode. I think Ed is going to be all about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that he's going to get into this because it seems cool.
Yeah.
Then after Bleeding Edge,
I felt like it was a little generic.
Yeah.
That was my one thing.
The characters are generic.
But again, this is also that thing of like, this isn't my type of game, so I'm not like really equipped to weigh in on it. I had fun with what we played, but I'm not like anxious to go back to it anymore.
Yeah. I think my thing is it is generic in a lot of ways, but I think that it is kind of the greatest hits of a lot
everything that's happening,
those games that are it's similar to, which make it generic.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, oh shit, you guys are doing this right. Yeah. And you're Ninja Theory. So,
yeah, of course. Yeah, you know what you're doing.
Which Xbox is backing, which I think is great. But also like, and I don't mean this as a negative thing. This is a Game Pass game. You look at it and 100%. You're just like, oh, this is the type of thing that they want to invest in to get people to want to keep coming back and like try different things.
Yeah. Where
it makes sense that this might not have a super ambitious single player campaign. That's fine. The point of it is that those team battles and stuff.
Yeah.
After that, we
did some Gears Escape, right?
I think I did Battletoads first.
That's not true, but okay.
All right, fine. We did Gears.
Because remember, we did Battletoads, and then we tried to find Jen, and we couldn't find Jen, so we left.
You're right.
And we went to Birdies. We had great wings. You can see my Instagram.
Great wings. So yeah, we then did Gears 5 Escape Mode.
Yeah.
Which we saw the very long trailer for at the conference. And
Dave Fenway, what up?
A big complaint I had during the conference was we didn't there was no gameplay. There was no any of that. It was all just CG stuff.
Yeah.
Seeing the gameplay, I'm like, cool. I get this. Totally looks like what I'd imagine it to be.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. My system crashed at some point. So
the very end.
Soured the experience a little bit.
I had a great time with it.
Yeah.
It's always that thing, and I know this probably sounds stupid to everybody who loves Xbox, and I apologize. I forget all the time how good Gears feels. Like, you know what I mean? I remember that on 360 when the first person I ever saw play Gears passed me the controller, and I was like, holy shit, like this feels good to play.
It changed the game, man. Like cover-based
the
stuff
cover
is now just kind of like so standard in such a gameplay.
But even,
it's like,
so many games do it, and they do it.
Exactly.
They still feel the best somehow.
Yeah, it really does.
It was fun to play. It was cool. Like I liked the way it was set up for us from Jeff actually, right? Of like, in Horde mode, you sit there and people come at you. This is the opposite of that, right? Like the idea is that you guys have infiltrated the hive or whatever. Now you are breaking out. You are the ones running out and attacking. And so it was cool and it was frantic, and there's this fog following you that'll kill you, so you have to be moving. You start with just a pistol, very few rounds, so you have to be stealthy and sneaky in the very beginning, and then it's like it gets notified and you get the guns and you start picking up the random stuff and the crazy stuff. And I had a special, this electric knife that Jeff's like, save, there's a guy coming.
Yeah.
Guy came, I set it off, I just started stabbing him, took down this big bat. It was great.
Yeah, very, very cool. Felt a little underwhelming, I would say, in terms of just like it felt like just a game mode, not like a revolution.
Sure.
And sure, it is just a game mode, but I feel like they're kind of putting a lot of emphasis on this as like a big thing for Gears 5, and it just feels like, oh, okay,
something new.
It's something. Yeah.
That was the one I was playing where I'm like, that's gonna be a fun party mode.
Yeah. Party mode for sure. But I don't see this like having lasting legs in a community outside of the people that are.
Well, that was the thing about it, right? Where, and I'm not fully briefed on it, but Jeff, who's played it before, was like, "Oh, this is everything." And it's like, so like, cool. If I play this once or twice, do I know where everything is and how it is?
Because of him doing that, like, it was really easy.
Yeah,
we lost at the end. Like, we ended up.
Well, it's because you crashed. I got grabbed by something. I got grabbed by a ghoulie and dragged away.
But for a long time, it was like, oh, this is pretty easy. And is it just the same maps? That you do, the same scenarios, but. It was cool though.
It's still like Gears gameplay, right?
Yeah.
It's that co-op experience, and it's a flip on it of how it works.
Yeah. And then I played Battletoads.
Yeah.
And, based on the trailers and stuff, I was like, it looks fine. I liked the art style a lot.
Yeah.
Actually playing it and seeing extended versions of it, this game is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot believe
really pretty. It's
the
really pretty.
level of attention they brought into the animation, all hand-drawn for the characters and enemies and like things going on some of the planes. A lot of the backgrounds there is some CG elements going on, but like there isn't that weird contrast of like it just doesn't mesh. And I keep talking about this, but like there was an aesthetic of these games that happened for a while that everything looked like Flash animation online.
Yeah.
And that was cool for a while, and then it just turned into lazy, just like, oh, this is a game, and it just like now you're like, all right, cool. Like that is what
I don't like this style,
an indie game is when it comes to 2D platforming. Where it's like you don't have the resources to really invest in like art design, so it's kind of just like these weird like push and pull animations. This looks so good, and that backs up the gameplay.
When I was watching you play it, I was like, this looks awesome. And then when you got into the motorbike stuff, I was like, this looks awesome.
Yeah. So the main game, it's like Battletoads. It's a 2D side scroller. Go from left to right. You're on the plane the 3D plane where you have to move up and down as well. And it has all the same issues that any one of those 90s arcade games do, of Ninja Turtles arcade, Simpsons arcade, wherever. It's like it's hard to know
what plane I'm on,
what plane you're on,
lined up,
to line up and fight the bad guys, and that gets really frustrating. We were playing 3-player co-op, so there was a lot going on screen at one time. The coloring and sizes and differences between the different toads was clear and cool, and I liked that. They each have different abilities. One's faster, one's strong, blah, blah, blah. I went with the blue one, obviously.
But that's Andy's color.
I hate you. But this game did something very, very, very cool, which is try to come up with a modern solution to that issue.
Yeah.
So this isn't just a remake. It really is a reimagining of Battletoads, and it's trying its best to make it modern.
Okay.
They added a lot of fighting game elements. So it's not just going left to right and just kind of same combo, whatever. Yeah. Each character has its own things you can kind of team up together to combo, and there's like a combo meter that you're trying to keep filling, and every time you hit another level, it gives you kind of another move that you can do. So it really is trying to get you to do different moves. If you just mash the square button over and over, or whatever, the X button over and over and over, that your meter will keep going up combo-wise, but it's not going to get to that next level. It's trying to get you to use different moves.
Gotcha.
So keep going. Gotcha. Like that, it's cool because I haven't seen that before, where there's a mechanic built in to try to get you to not just do it the fastest way, but to do it with style.
Yeah.
I guess Devil May Cry and stuff does that, but I haven't seen it in this type of game. But on top of that, on the fighting game stuff, there was so many homages to different video games, different 90s cartoons. Like in every move that they do, there's some animation. It's like, oh, that's clearly referencing Ren and Stimpy, or that's clearly referencing Star Wars or whatever. One of them is clearly referencing Mortal Kombat with the Get Over Here. You hold the... I'm just going to use PlayStation things, guys. I'm sorry.
Wow.
The L1.
Okay.
The LB. I don't know.
The left bumper.
I fucking hate this shit, man. All day at E3, I'm like playing this with the Pro controller on Switch, the Xbox controller, the PlayStation controller, and it's like, oh, press B, and I'm just like, damn it, I hate my life.
It's honestly, and this is just a diatribe. It's only Switch that I can't do. Where it's like,
I got Switch all day.
It's like hit X, and I'm like, what the?
I got Switch all day.
And like, honestly, it was what Octopath. Maybe it was it was either Octopath or it was it must have been Octopath. It could have been Valkyria, but I think it was Octopath. Where finally I had to be like, all right, what do I think it should be? A, B. All right, so it's the reverse of that, B, A. So, and if that's B, A, then that means this is Y, X, and it's just like, this sucks.
It does. It really does.
Stupid
suck.
Nintendo. But, Doug Bowser, fix it.
God. So you have the LB.
We made eye contact. I couldn't talk to him.
Yeah, he had cool glasses, though.
Yeah, he had really cool
Yeah,
glasses.
I saw him, too. But the LB, and then you hit the B button, and it kind of use your tongue to grab an enemy, and it doesn't matter what plane they are. It brings it to your plane.
Does he say get Toader here?
I couldn't hear. They might. I would not put it past it. But this sounds simple. I've never seen one of these games do it. And it kept the guesswork out of the, where is he? So
that's
like,
cool.
Boom, go, pull the other guy, go. And it's just like, it felt a lot more like frenetic and like that I was in charge of what was going on.
That's great.
So that stuff was great. I was like, oh man, this is actually pretty cool. I might like really want to like give this a shot. The dialogue was funny. The story seemed like stupid in the best way.
Yeah.
Then we got to the hover bike level.
Yeah.
Oh no, Greg.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Now you
guys.
say, oh no, I put up videos of you. You were into it. You were like refusing to be beaten by it.
No. Here's my thing. Okay, let me explain the game and then let me address you, Greg. Okay. So it was me and 2 other people playing. So 3 hover bikes at once. Unlike the original hover bike level in Battletoads that is the side scroller that's notoriously difficult. Yeah. This one is like
you're shooting down.
You're going down like it's a straightaway. So you're behind it, you see them, and then you're going, and it's kind of like an infinite runner. It's horrible. It looks good. It looks pretty. It is horrible.
Now, as somebody who's watching it and seeing them all fail differently, and now granted, there's a good checkpoint system, it seems.
Yes, great checkpoint system.
But it is very much that you're hurtling, like I'm pointing straight at the camera, you're hurtling down that way, and so there'll be obstructions coming at you, and you go left, you go right, you have to jump or whatever. But if there's an obstruction coming right at you, like my hand's coming at my face, and you go around it, they'll immediately put another one there.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you have a second to come around and figure it out. Like you have a nanosecond to come around, like, oh, middle. Yeah.
So here's there's a couple issues that really make this, I think, fall apart entirely.
Sure.
It's an infinite runner in style. Mobile game, swipe left, swipe right, or middle.
Yeah.
There's the tracks or whatever. But instead of there being tracks, every post might be in a different way. It's not like lane 1, lane 2, lane 3.
That sucks.
It's like
it'd be so much easier to click, 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 right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fully like kind of open and like it could be anywhere. It could be in between, whatever. The bigger problem is using the bumpers. You do go lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, but that doesn't mean that like you're gonna make it past the thing. Even though it feels like it should, feels very like loose and not good for something that needs to be incredibly precision.
Yeah.
You can then use the analog stick to go around, but it just doesn't feel good. And then the bigger problem is in multiplayer. It is just utter chaos. All the toads are on the same plane.
All of them fucking toads.
If they cross over each other, you kind of get transparent a little bit. You lose the color so quickly. Where I had no idea where I was half the time, and it was just like, and then you spawn back, and you're just like, oh, I died again. Great. It was not fun at all.
That sucks.
But the checkpoint system was good. If one person survives long enough, even if the other 2 die, they'll
come back. Yeah.
And
as long as you have somebody alive, you can keep.
There is a strategy in multiplayer to like die, have someone go a little farther, to then respawn in the right place and kind of like pass the baton almost.
And then beyond that, when you all did die, there were the checkpoints on the timeline. And it showed you how close you were to the end of it.
So to go back to what you're saying about like I wouldn't let it beat me. I cannot believe they let the demo go on that long. Why did no one stop us?
See, it's honestly, it's the same thing. The original Battletoads is so hard, and people eventually beat their chest about like that's what Battletoads is. That's what they wanted out of this. They want this to be, oh, it's a challenge. You mean crazy?
I get that. I'm talking about at this E3 demo when there was a line of 100 people waiting to play.
You're an influencer.
I was just like, can someone tell me to stop?
You just gotta learn to put it down.
But I was with 2 other people that waited in line to play.
Get another kid up
I was
there,
like, I didn't want to be the one being like, I'm done. I was done.
You gotta be a man. You gotta be a man.
We got so close to being close. It was hard and it was not fun at all. Okay. I really didn't like that stuff. But I thought the rest of the game was really cool. And the hover bike levels aren't the majority of the game. So, and I think
you were saying playing alone it would be better. You think?
Oh, playing alone would be way better.
Yeah.
You'd at least be able to focus and know.
What if it's Nick playing with you and he's going, "Hey Tim"?
Oh no, I will never play that game with Tim or with Nick.
You did it. See how easy it is to do
No,
that?
I did because I was looking at me and now we're out of focus.
Well, it's because you said the wrong name.
Focus.
Do this. There you go.
Thank you.
I just noticed it's kind of like a Nazi salute, but like it worked. You know what I mean? Yeah, I guess Logitech, a bunch of Nazis. We have
there we go. After Battletoads, we did what?
That's when we broke apart and we went and did different things. I went to Stadia, which I've talked about. You, however, went and saw some Square games.
Oh my God, I did, Greg.
I'm very excited for this. Can I get a beer while you do it?
Oh, of course you can.
Now, do you want me to take it off or go around you, or what do you want me to do? I can go under you that way. I can pop it off. It may go. But people don't care. It's E3.
Pop it off. It's okay.
This is fun. People love it.
Actually, while you're doing that, I want to let you know.
Can I pee too while you read the ad?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by 23andMe. Father's Day is right around the corner, and 23andMe's health and ancestry. Nope. Ancestry Kit is the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get $50 off a 23andMe Health and Ancestry Kit through June 17th. If you buy a kit for yourself too, you and your dad can connect and celebrate your shared genetic similarities and differences, with over 125 personalized genetic reports on health, traits, and more. I tried 23andMe, so did Greg Miller. It was really fun. It was really easy. We get all these updates on genetic things all the time, and I'm super fascinated by all of it. You can discover how genes can influence well-being and lifestyle choices with insights into genetic weight, muscle composition, sleep quality, and more. Trait reports give insights into how genetics can affect mosquito bite frequency, motion sickness, fear of heights, and more. Wellness reports can help make informed decisions about his health. We're talking about your dad here because it's Father's Day. Explore where his DNA is from out of over 1,000 regions worldwide with the most comprehensive genetic ancestry breakdown on the market. This is a great Father's Day gift. Gia actually got it for her mom and dad on Christmas last year, and they both loved it. So do some cool stuff for your dad here. This Father's Day, get $50 off 23andMe's Health and Ancestry Kit at 23andme.com/games. That's the number 23andme.com/games. Again, that's 23andme.com/games. Offer ends June 17th. And then also shout out to Robinhood. I'm gonna pump up the. I need to do this. I can't see it. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos, all commission-free. While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all of your profits. Plus, there's no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. Don't touch that yet. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections, such as 100 most popular. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio. Discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving listeners of Kinda Funny Games daily a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at games.robinhood.com. That's games.robinhood.com.
Can I touch it?
Now you can touch it, Greg.
Michael.
Yeah.
You don't want the ad radius, Esta. I understand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Got to keep it professional.
We got to keep it professional. Me, your toddler next to you. I love it. We look professional enough. People are always like, I miss the spare bedroom days. Well, it doesn't get more spare bedroom days.
It doesn't get more spare than this, ladies and gentlemen. So, Square Enix.
You go to see the Square stuff.
Dude, this is what I was most excited about this whole show. I knew I was going to get to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. Couldn't believe it, but I knew it was going to happen. All right? Mm-hmm. I go over to Square's booth, and I guess this is a good time to talk about E3. Sure. The show floor this year. This was the first major time I actually had to go on the show floor, find a booth, explore a little bit. I'd went on earlier just to kind of get an idea,
get a taste.
And I will say, the rumors are true. It is very barren compared to previous E3s. Yeah. And it has a different feel, a different vibe. It's not as kind of hustle and bustle and like epic feeling.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more subdued and more similar to a PAX. Or a PAX East. Sure. Or a PAX South. I'm going to stop.
You've never been to PAX South. You don't know.
I don't know. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, though. PlayStation's presence at the show, I think, is definitely missed.
Sure.
And there is a lot more weird booths where you can buy things, which hasn't always been the case.
Did you buy one of those AO shirts?
I did not.
Oh, man, you're missing out.
AO?
Adults only. Oh, you didn't see these? Mm-mm. When you come in towards West Hall, they have a merch booth there, and they're selling a bunch of really bad. They should just hire Andy for a weekend to design some stuff.
Oh, that's what the E3 2019 Hype AF?
Yeah. It's just those words on a T-shirt. It's like Kind of Funny V1 shirts we used to do.
I do have a story about that real quick.
Well, hold on. And then they also have T-shirts that have the ratings on them, and they're selling an AO shirt.
Yeah. So weird. When I was leaving E3 to come back here to try to get this stuff ready, I ran into a group of best friends, and one of them was crying. And they were all freaking out to meet me.
Tim Gettys.
And I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But like, what? And they were all very loud, very hyped. And one of them was wearing the shirt.
Their hype is it.
He was wearing the shirt. And I was like, hey, whatever. That was being me. We took pictures and stuff. And like the crying guy, I had to address and just be like, dude, what's going on? He's like, yo, I'm not crying because of you. I just met Mike Shinoda.
Fair.
And I was like, this story is awesome. Like, I love, like, it felt like he was crying to meet me, which was just weird.
Did you then cry to meet Mike Shinoda?
Well, then I started joining them with, like, freaking out. I'm like, where's Mike Shinoda? He was in there with his kid.
I forget. He looks like Andy or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he does. Very much.
So you work with Mike Shinoda?
I do. Mike Shinoda, the Cobra holder, as they call him. What was I talking about?
You were talking about Square Enix and how that led to Mike Shinoda crying over his son's dead body.
It's a beautiful thing. But my point of E3 being kind of weird, it allows, I mean, Square's always kind of went big in certain ways, but like Square's owning the South Hall. And their installations for Avengers and for Final Fantasy VII Remake are awesome. Very cool, very Disneyland-esque.
Did you take any photos of them?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm not a big photo guy like that, you know what I mean?
I guess. I've seen your Instagram presence. It's terrible.
It is terrible. It's verified.
Embarrassment. You were verified before
me. It is verified. But there's the giant macro reactor from Final Fantasy VII. It's the thing with that shoots the green stuff. You know what I mean?
Totally. Slime blower.
Slime blower, yeah. But they have that, and so I got to see a behind closed doors demo with the producer of the game, which was really cool.
Mike Shinoda.
I've seen you on stage a million times. And they ran through, it was about 30 minutes of...
so you didn't play?
I did play.
Ooh,
but this started with just like a 30-minute, like, pretty much, here's the start of the game. Here, we're just showing you. We're going to explain all of the different battle systems and like all the systems and characters and stuff. And the goal of the remake. Still very, very bizarrely worded how they're talking about this whole thing. But all that we need to know is this game is coming out March 3rd next year, and it is Midgar. And it's very, very, very expanded. Midgar, the first city or section that you're in Final Fantasy VII. That was cool. Then we got to go play the game. So before we went to play the game, we walk into this room, and it's modeled after like a train station in Midgar.
Okay. So you're freaking out.
I'm like,
childhood dreams are coming true.
It was kind of like, oh, this is cool. Like they went really above and beyond with it. And then when the like demo was about to start, the lights all turn off in the room, and like a siren starts going off. Like all the lights were sirens. And I was like, what is going on? And there's sound effects of trains and stuff going on. Yeah. There's screens all over that were like fake windows. And I'm like, this is legitimately like a Disneyland ride.
Nice.
And like this fake commercial for Shinra, which is the electric power company, the bad guys in Final Fantasy VII, comes up and starts playing, and then like Avalanche, who's like the good guys that you are, the freedom fighters, kind of comes, it starts interrupting the stag. He's like, hey, the train's almost here, we gotta get on. It's like, it's a cool kind of prequel to Final Fantasy VII, and they did this whole thing, and
Do you think I'll understand the game if I don't do this prequel?
I mean, yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like waiting in line at a Disneyland ride.
Yeah.
But they just did such a good job with it, where I was like, wow, they really understand what fans would want from this experience. And then after that, I was with Mega Ran, which was like super cool.
Nice.
So the two of us we were partnered on the same station. Got to go in and play, and it's like it picks up right where the goofy,
That's awesome.
like
That's really cool.
immersive thing left off, and I got to play. So what I watched the producer play through, he stopped at a certain point, and then I got to play about 20 minutes after that point, up until that boss, the Scorpion that we saw.
The Pizza Hut boss.
The Pizza Hut boss, yes,
Gotcha.
the end of the demo disc back in the day. And oh my God, it's so good, Greg.
Yeah?
This game is, the best way that I can put it into words is, it is as good as Resident Evil 2 Remake, from what I've played.
Okay.
In terms of direction, in terms of modernization, in terms of gameplay, in terms of making the characters better, the dialogue, everything about the presentation, the music. It's like, it is such a love letter to Final Fantasy VII, but in a way that, like, earlier you asked, like, do I think that you
well, I like it was my question.
The more I think about it, I'm like, I think you're going to. You don't need to have any history of this game, because it's the new jump-on point. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
now I'm just a floating head, but whatever.
But I think that it's so impressive that we've seen this game, heard about this game for years at this point.
Yeah.
It's so different than the gameplay that we saw back in 2015, back when CyberConnect were working on it.
CyberConnect.
They brought this in to Square proper, and I'm so happy that they did, because they are putting a lot of the original team that worked on 7 are working on this, for better or worse in some ways. But
what does that mean?
Just like the director is the director of Kingdom Hearts 3, which
you loved.
I mean, I liked a lot.
Buzz me, Woody.
But all the like weird issues I had with Kingdom Hearts 3 are not here, and I'm like, how? Like, how are they gone? The dialogue, I love it. It's quippy, it's fun. It reminds me of Uncharted. Like,
how's the voice acting?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think that like it was very engaging, and as you're battling, as you're walking, like Barrett and Cloud are just kind of like, going back and forth with each other, and it's really fleshing them out.
Okay.
And I understand how this is going to be a full game just set in the beginning. Like, these characters are getting, like the cast of Avalanche that you don't get to spend much time with in the original game. I'm already like, oh shit, you're a character that I'm going to get to know a bit more. Just because you're saying more things that matter, and it's not just like, oh geez, I'm here. It's like cool stuff, but it's building the
My
lore.
sister was killed by them.
I love it, man. It's I thought that's the story stuff was great. The music is spectacular. It's the original melodies of the songs, but kind of mixed together. Nobuo Uematsu, the composer, probably the most famous video game composer of all time, is back out of retirement to work on this. And something they're trying to do here is to not have a battle theme that starts when you get into a fight and a map theme that's whatever, but to have it just interwoven in a way that like it's constantly ebbing and flowing with whatever you're doing, and it was a mastercraft. They really nailed that. Where it's all the
You're getting me excited for a Final Fantasy game, Tim.
I love it, man. It's all the themes that I know and love, and even if you don't know and love them, they're so good. But mixing them together in a way that felt natural, and it felt like it always should have been that way. Fully orchestrated, all that stuff's awesome. The gameplay though, it's so good. Looking at it, you're like, oh, it's kind of like Final Fantasy 15. It's not.
Yeah.
It is way more of an action game, but you can play it like an RPG if you want, like a traditional RPG, JRPG, where the slow down time thing, you get as much time as you want to make whatever decisions and strategic calls. I was busting through all of the normal enemies, no problem. Got to that boss, I started having issues with it. And it was that thrill of the moment-to-moment, like, okay, I need to take down his leg. That's going to be weak to electricity. Cool, I'm going to focus on this. Oh, there's missiles coming. I need to make sure I'm focusing on that. Like, it's kind of the management of resources and of your turns. The active time battles replaced with the more attacks you do, you have 2 little bars that fill up each character. You can switch live between characters at any point. Cloud is way more melee focused with the sword. Barrett has the gun arm, so he can shoot the certain enemies that you can't get with the sword. You can only get with the gun, blah, blah, blah. So constantly, you're just up and down on the D-pad. You're switching between the playable characters.
Yeah.
In the demo I did, there was only 2 characters, but at some point you'll get up to 3. And I can just imagine how fun and chaotic it's going to be to bounce between the characters with the scale of the bosses, with the music and how epic it all is, how beautiful the whole game looks. It's, again, I need to keep bringing up Resident Evil 2. So far, Resident Evil 2 is my game of the year. And that's because it's a great modern game.
It's also because you haven't played The Division 2.
It happens to be based on a game that I love a lot, and the concept of it's great and whatever, but it hasn't aged well, and it has its issues and blah, blah, blah. Final Fantasy VII has aged well. And this seems to be a modernization that is just bringing this into a game that Greg Miller would enjoy a lot. And I honestly cannot say enough good things about this game.
Dude, that's awesome.
It looks great. Everyone that played it is just in love with it.
Yeah, I ran into a bunch of best friends today, obviously. If you're watching, or if you're a best friend who has talked to us before, thank you so much for stopping us and saying, hey, it's been really incredible how many of you are here. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So many of them were talking about how much they loved it.
I will say Final Fantasy VII is easily my game of the show right now.
Really?
Still haven't seen Cyberpunk.
Yeah, you're seeing that tomorrow.
But I mean, it is. This is something so special, and I knew going in I was going to like it. I did not expect to love it. They're doing it all right, and I don't trust that group to do things right often. And then right after
so are you officially saying you're giving one of your Kind of Funny approved awards to Final Fantasy?
100%.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're new to the show, each person at E3 gets 3 a Kind of Funny approved faces of their own face to give out, and then we do one game of the Game of the Show award, which I assume we're doing on the podcast tomorrow.
Yeah,
we'll decide what our game of the show is.
Figure that out. Then I immediately went to go see Avengers, which
here we fucking go.
I can tell you right now is not going to get one of my.
God damn it! God damn it!
Did not get to play Marvel Avengers.
What did they show you
from Crystal Dynamics? We went into this like cool press conference bunker thing. That was for 8A. Like again, it was.
Like I saw people were showing the badges they got for 8A.
We got confidential stuff. I left it in the room because I didn't want any of that garbage.
No
if I'm
fun.
being honest.
No fun.
But we get in and they start giving a presentation of the whole thing, and we got a 15-minute straight up gameplay demo.
Nice, because that was our complaint, right? It's like, what is this game? They're talking about DLC at the press conference. We don't know what the game is.
I don't know why they didn't show this.
Really?
Don't know why.
Wait, what?
I mean, I feel like this would have answered a lot of questions.
But you don't like it.
I don't like it. But
Is it because it's not a Tim game, or is it because it looks bad?
It's somewhere. It doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look good. Like.
Okay. I know these games. I know these games.
It doesn't look. Well, I mean, that's what it is. These games. This is these games. This is a licensed PS2 game.
Fuck God, that's literally what I was gonna say. Is it like a licensed Marvel game, like Captain America when they made the game?
See, no, it's not that, and those are bad. And that's what I'm saying. It's not bad. It's just not Spider-Man. At all.
Okay.
And that's the problem. Is like we're judging it against that.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Of course.
And more than that, we're judging it against the MCU. And this game, I feel, ends with itself in terms of its characters and what it's trying to put across, because it feels like they're constantly like, hey, we're not MCU. But here's all those things you like about the MCU.
So what did they show?
So
sorry, I keep cutting you off.
They showed a 15-minute gameplay section that seemed uninterrupted of the attack on San Francisco. And
during this A-Day thing?
During A-Day, and it's them getting across the bridge. And everything that happens going across the bridge.
Okay.
So it starts with...
Oh, so the Taskmaster thing that we saw with Black Widow on him?
It ends with that. So you start with Thor. And Thor is just off the bridge in the San Francisco side and just kind of fighting a bunch of generic bad guys. And it's really unclear why.
Fuck these guys in particular. I'm Thor.
And honestly, that dialogue might as well have been ripped right from it.
Oh, no.
Like, it's Thor, it's Travis William, and who we love. And, like, he's great. He sounds great. What he's saying, though, I'm not kidding. It's like, I'm Thor, you're humans, and I'm going to hit you, humans. And it's like, why would you, what? This seems so weird. Yeah. And, like, it's not Ragnarok Thor. It's, like, pre-Ragnarok Thor. So it's, like, not even funny. It's just like, oh, you're serious right now. And all the moves that he's doing, like, even the HUD that they have, like, the health is in the middle of the screen, like at the top here, and it like just doesn't look that nice. Okay. I hope they change that.
Yeah, I bet they will. That's pretty normal that if you show a game at E3 or this early, that doesn't.
And then at the like bottom right of the screen, there's these just like buttons that make it look like a mobile game. Like it's just like 3 circles that are, I guess, special moves that you get to do based on I don't know, maybe it is the square, triangle, or circle on the controller. I don't know. It wasn't clear, but it didn't look good. And seeing how it would play in gameplay, I was like, oh my God, this game seems a lot more like quick time event focused than I'd like it to.
Okay.
Mixed with just button mashing nonsense. And by that I mean the animations are so pre-canned that it doesn't make sense with hitboxes and what's going on. There's a lot of just, here's the hammer and it's being swung around. And the moment he starts swinging, it's just going to swing this way. How it hits the other person isn't really going to affect anything. And it's not like it's clipping or anything, but it just kind of feels like a garbled mess of...
It's all pre-canned stuff. It's gonna hit. It's the easiest way to get this done.
Yeah.
It's spinning in a circle, and it doesn't matter how it hits you. You're just gonna go down.
Exactly. You're gonna get hit, and we're past that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
The environment stuff all looks really cool.
Did they throw it and like call it back?
They did, and it didn't look great.
Fuck! God damn it!
That's the thing. It didn't look like God of War.
That's my thing. It's gotta be God of War. Fuck!
And it sucks because like I'm sounding so negative on this, and like, did it look fun? Sure.
Would you play it? Would you play it?
I'm excited to see if they fix a lot of these issues because there is potential here. The story stuff seems so interesting. There's some things that I'm not sure about, so I don't even want to say it right now. But the way that they're setting up this world of whose perspective it's from, I was like, this seems cool. Then, but they like hid away from that pretty quick. There was a lot of hints at stuff that I was like, oh, this world is huge. Like the Hank Pym reveal that we got.
Yeah, in the trailer.
There was other characters that were mentioned or kind of brought up. Like there's a lot of talking about Nick Fury. There's a lot of talking about. So I was like, the world's really cool.
Okay.
Story and stuff like that's all cool. But I just didn't like the dialogue of the characters. Tony Stark felt like a knockoff Tony Stark. It didn't
but
feel.
Nolan.
And again, Nolan's great, but like what he's saying, it never felt good. You play as Thor for a bit. You go and I didn't. They did.
Yeah, the demo was playing. Yeah. Is it live demo or is it all canned?
It seemed like it, but like he was behind a podium. Like I was trying to figure it out the whole time. And
if they said they were playing it, I bet they're playing it.
Yeah, I mean I don't think they did.
You don't think they did?
I don't know if they did or not, but like they just kind of glossed. Like it just started. You know. Okay. There was Thor. Yeah. That goes for a little bit.
He's the guy.
And then there's like this. It seamlessly transitions into Iron Man coming in.
Okay.
Iron Man starts flying across the bridge. We saw that in the
trailer. Yeah.
and it looked like a mediocre on-rails shooter. And like that's the problem with all this. I was just like, oh, that doesn't look like it's the fun way I want to control Iron Man.
God,
it's just kind
damn
of going,
it.
and it's just like, you go, and you shoot a couple things, whatever. It seemed like it lasted way too long. Another problem is like this whole thing. It didn't feel like the stakes, like what's happening story-wise, is huge. San Francisco is being attacked, about to be obliterated, and the Avengers are. Captain America dies at the end of this.
Spoilers.
That we saw the thing.
I know, it's the trailer.
Yeah. But with all that, and it's like the way that they're quipping and stuff.
Like there's nothing on the line kind of thing?
It felt like there's nothing on the line. And like even just the way people are acting, it's just like, I don't know, man. It just didn't feel great. Iron Man goes, you control him for a bit, and then the Hulk comes into play. Bruce Banner jumps out of a
Saw that in the trailer,
carrier,
yeah.
turns into Hulk.
Was that cool?
The whole gameplay seemed second most interesting to me.
Okay, who was first?
I'll get there.
Oh, my apologies.
But the Hulk smashing a lot of things, as you'd expect. But again, it did suffer from the pre-canned animation stuff. A lot of the grab and throw guys, or like smash, whatever. It's a video game. I get it. Like, even Spider-Man, at the end of the day, you are doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, but this is exactly what we were worried about, right? Of like, cool, we're going to give you 5, 4, whatever Avengers to play as, and none of them are going to be great.
Yep.
Spider-Man did the same shit over and over again, but it always felt awesome.
Yes.
Right?
And then after that, you get to Black Widow. Taskmaster appears, Black Widow comes down, starts fighting him, and that's where I'm like, this gameplay actually looks good.
Yeah.
She looked fun, and it looked like a styled-up Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider games.
Okay.
Dual pistols going,
Yeah.
a lot of like acrobatics and flips and stuff. I'm like, oh, this looks really, really interesting and cool. And then it turned into a giant QuickTime event where she jumps on Taskmaster's back, and they start flying around, and it's just like, you're just hitting the right buttons at the right time. I get it. It's video games. I just expect more. I want more from Marvel Avengers, from Crystal Dynamics. And then there's a bit you play as Captain America, and the sound effects were awesome. Throwing the shield, that did look satisfying. That I was like, oh, this looks cool. But then he dies. So you're like, all right, cool.
Great, not going to see him
Yeah,
again.
and that was kind of it. And, people in the audience were applauding for it, but then there was a lot of people that were looking around like, because it wasn't just press. There was some press. But a lot of people were just like, hey, that didn't look good, did it? And that's not.
I mean, that's honestly been, I think, the more vocal reaction from or whatever, our bubble of video game people on the internet, is that it hasn't been, fuck yeah, that looks great. It's been like, oof, this doesn't look, I forget who it was. Somebody was like, I could totally be wrong, and I hope I am. I'm getting X-Men Destiny vibes off this. And I was like, Jesus.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, it seems like a 7 right now.
Oof.
And I'm like, that's fine. 7s can be fun.
Sure. Okay. Yes. I am king of, 7s are great or whatever. 7s are rough when it's the Avengers, when it's, here's what they're talking about, like, we're doing, it's a games as a service, kind of. They're talking about, did they go into this?
They did go into it.
Because on the presentation, it was like, everything's going to be free. And it's like, wait, what's the gameplay?
They did talk about that a bit more. It was still cagey in a way that I don't think they were trying to be misleading, but they never say it's a single-player game. Every time they brought it up, which was multiple times, they'll be like, it's a single-player or co-op mission-based, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. Like, the focus on the or part seems more important than the
So we're still not clear if it's, you can play the missions alone, or with people, or if it's, there are solo missions and
they did not make that clear in the presentation they had for us at
your
least.
group, yeah.
And they did talk about, there's like, oh, you might have seen in this, there's like other characters that are going to come in different expansions and the different areas they're going to add and whatever. And it's like, this is going to be an ongoing living world and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's so not in line with what you're showing us.
Yeah.
Like you're showing us this as if it's a single player narrative game. So I don't know. I was very disappointed. I'm sad about it. It is a heartbreaker. What was next?
Then you and I went to Nintendo. And the first thing we played was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. We have not talked about it. What did you think?
I did not like it.
Really?
I did not like it because we've been talking a lot about Marvel Ultimate Alliance coming to Switch, exclusive on Switch, and it's kind of a lot of things that are like, hey, this gives it some hope for being a step up from what we expect, which was a 7. It's just going to be fun, mindless fun, whatever.
Smash it off.
This, to me, was like at least from what we played, which was 10 minutes, I want to say.
Yeah.
We ran through, it was me, you, 2 other people, so a team of 4, all is different Characters, I was Miles Morales. You were
I was Cap.
Captain America?
Yes.
Okay. It looked well,
come on.
Captain Marvel was there too.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Captain Marvel Cap. All right.
Okay.
I have a shield.
Yeah, you have a shield.
Get this
Man a shield. I not to like have the words of the day be caveat and generic, but I can't believe just how generic it felt.
Yeah.
Like watching what my character was doing compared to everyone else, I'm like, oh, we might as well all be the same person. Like, cool, I'm shooting webs and you're throwing a shield. They're doing the exact same thing with like the same type of like range and the same type of speed of being thrown and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it just felt pointless. You know, you're going through, there's some story stuff happening. And it's just
Jessica Jones was there giving us mission items.
yeah, and it's just like, oh, it's a video game.
Yeah.
Like, it's a, hey, video game's a video game. Hey, I need you to go over here. Oh, there's ninjas, literally.
Yeah.
Oh, there's ninjas.
Yeah.
Beat up the ninjas. And oh, there's a bigger ninja. This one has a shield.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get that I'm complaining about superhero video
Action,
game,
RPG, whatever you want to call it.
but I was just like, oh, I don't want to play this.
Yeah. I was the exact opposite.
Really?
I want to play it so bad.
That's
now,
awesome.
here's the thing. Everything you just said, spot on and true. I'm not at all taking away from that. And maybe this is me not having rose-colored glasses for the Ultimate Alliance universe franchise, whatever. Like, that's what I remember X-Men Legends being and Ultimate Alliance being, and then going too far with Civil War. Like, it very much, for sure, everything you just said, yeah, I'm shooting webs, I'm throwing the shield, they're doing the same kind of thing. All true. It was, at 4 players, for our first taste, pandemonium. I was very much like, can't wait to get this game by myself and level Cap and level Miles and level Captain Marvel, right? Like, to go through and learn what they are doing and how it works and choose what's going on. Like, because we weren't, it was just like, blah, and it was like, now let's all use our ultimates together. And it was like, and I was like, what the fuck are we doing? I don't even know what the fuck's going on. But it was, and again, I've talked about this recently on the shows. I miss Marvel Heroes right now. Like, there's plenty of days where I'm just like, I'd love to just smash some shit.
Yeah.
That's what we were doing. We were smashing crates and going through and getting a story and picking up gold. And it's like, it is a video game, the video game. It is, we're just heroes that are interchangeable. And I am on board with that. But again, that's an expectation I'm setting for what that game is.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's what it is.
Yeah.
It is Ultimate Alliance, where it's just like...
I just think, though, I mean, and from the little we've seen, I feel like the Ultimate Alliance games, their story was compelling and cool because it was this, like, big melding of universes that we hadn't seen together commonly, at least back then. That was cool and interesting. We have now seen it done so that it's just normal now.
Sure.
And we've seen it done so well now that...
You're talking about movies and stuff?
Yeah, movies, comics, like games, anything, really, where it's just like, maybe not games.
I was going to say
but-
games,
Yeah, but in terms of the story, it's like just putting them together isn't enough to be like, that's cool. And I feel like from the little story bits we got from this and from what we've seen, I was just like, oh, this just feels like a comic book event that I don't want to read. You know, as opposed to a comic book event that I'm like, whoa, this is like the Avengers story. I'm like, oh, this.
See,
is,
and that's my thing,
cool.
I guess, about it. Whereas, like, and maybe I just suck, but thinking back to X-Men Legends and Ultimate Alliance and stuff, like, I don't remember what that was. I do remember running through and beating the shit out of everything and switching characters and having fun.
I don't remember it either, but I remember it being awesome. You know, and I think that that's the key thing because it was just like we just didn't get that much comic book stuff.
My thing is that, again, a 15-minute demo at E3 with it isn't the best way to do it,
Absolutely.
and I'm hoping it's just so early that Jessica Jones was punching air conditioners and shit. Like, how does that apply to Thanos?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're getting to the Black Order and Thanos. Like, I assume eventually we're gonna turn the corner of whatever little mission we're on in New York is actually a bigger deal.
I guess my final thoughts on playing it today and seeing it today, especially having played Battletoads earlier, which are very similar in the sense that it is just a beat 'em up. You just go and whatever. Battletoads has that aesthetic, has that look, and like that stuff sold me. But it also has that modern thing of being able to switch the planes. I'm like, oh, you took this classic nostalgic gameplay style and added something that made it better. Whereas this, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like those games were nostalgic in 2006.
This is an HD version of Ultimate Alliance.
Yes.
And it should be more than that. That I understand.
That to me is why I'm just like, okay, cool.
And that's the thing about it. Like, do you know is it $60? You assume it is, right? That's the thing is like based on what we've seen and stuff. That is a steep price.
Totally.
Whereas like obviously we'll get review codes or whatever. Like I don't know if I'd be super stoked to drop 60 bones on it.
Yeah.
But I am stoked to play it, and so maybe I will, and I hope I am, and like again, like as somebody who loved Marvel Heroes and misses that, which was, I mean, I love Marvel Heroes, just mindless. You know what I mean? It was just running around beating the shit out of things. Like I was having fun throwing the shield, and it was that thing of like, man, I'm looking forward to leveling up Cap, and then also what's in Marvel Knights, and then what is all that dumb shit. But you're right that I don't think it is not a Marvel Games game that is like going, wow, it's bringing you up to Spider-Man level, or not even remotely like that. It is like, honestly, it's what I wish the iPhone games were. When I see a commercial for Strike Force or something, and I'm like, oh no, it's not. It's very like whatever. Like this is like I do want a dumb beat 'em up, whatever. And all right, cool, I'm in.
Then you left to do.
I went to see Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah, you did.
We'll save that. You kept staying for Nintendo.
But I stayed to do the rest of the Nintendo stuff.
Tell me about Luigi's fucking
so I did not do Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Because you hate Pokemon.
No, just because like, I didn't feel the need to have to demo it. Like I get it, but I watched someone do the full demo.
Sure.
Earlier in the day.
Was it Rahul? I saw Rahul Kohli was there.
It was.
He
not
hugged
him.
me.
He did. He hugged me as well.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not a competition.
But it looks great. People were having a lot of fun with it. At the Nintendo booth, they had this whole actual like Pokemon Stadium, like real life setup.
Yeah.
That people were doing with giant TVs. So like the new like gimmick in this Pokemon game,
Mega Man.
the Dyna mode, I think that's what it's called.
I know what you're talking about.
And just makes the Pokemon huge, and like seeing that on the big screens, like as people are playing, I'm like this is pretty cool. There's definitely an energy to it. That I'm like awesome, but I'm like I get it, cool. I'm gonna play that game. I'm gonna enjoy that game. I then played Link's Awakening. Oh baby boy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is another one that's probably gonna get my. How many faces do I have?
3.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give this one. It's so good. We knew it's a good game to start with. That art style is just so killer. And I feel that the original trailer we saw for it was like such a nice taste of like, ooh, I'm gonna like this.
Yeah.
Then the new trailer we got was like, oh my god, we're seeing more areas and like the unique, cool ways that they're using that art style, that tilt shift kind of diorama look to translate to water and the mountain and the forest and fog and whatever. It's like they're getting real Nintendo creative with it. So that stuff's great. The music's awesome. Like, everything about it, I was just like, yeah, I can't wait to play this game.
Awesome, I can't wait.
And it's been long enough that like I don't remember what to do in Link's Awakening. It was like, I was like, okay, the sword is there. Oh, I need to get. What do I do with this raccoon? I don't remember it. It's like that's fun though. You know, it's like and.
Can I ask you a dumb question?
Like aha.
When we did the post show for Nintendo, I read the press release. And the press release messaged Mario stuff like Chain Chomp and yada yada. Was that in the original? Like I don't know anything about Link's Awakening, I guess.
Oh, have you played it before?
No.
Oh man.
No, I've never played it.
Oh, Link's Awakening's good.
Ocarina was my first Zelda, and I only ever went back to
Link to the Past.
Yeah, but I didn't even get that deep into it. And then I loved Link Between Worlds because everybody's like, oh, well, it's just the same. Like, I didn't play the first one.
Yeah. You should one day. But the Nintendo had a weird thing going where there was the first game on NES. Then the second game was like a weird-ass spin-off, and then the third game would bring it back. They did it with Zelda. Without the third
Mario.
Game. They did it with Mario. They did it with Castlevania. They did it with, you get it. And the Game Boy games were always kind of like that. Well, the screen is a lot smaller, so the characters need to be a lot bigger. Pixels take up more real estate, and because of that, a lot of weird gameplay decisions had to be made, and a lot of it was sprite-based, and it was kind of like, well, these sprites work. People understand that's a bad guy. People understand that's a chain chomp, how it's going to move.
Gotcha.
And so Link's Awakening did share a lot of assets from Mario, including Goombas and chain chomps and piranha plants and stuff, but in a Zelda fashion. But it was cool. And yeah, they're in there. And there's also characters that legitimately look just like Mario, but his name's Taron. It's different.
They make jokes about it?
Yeah. Well, at least the Nintendo people I was with did. But it was great. Fantastic. This game's going to be so good. The course, the dungeon creator
create your thing. Yeah. Whatever. No.
Yeah. Nah. But Link's Awakening is going to be real good. It's September 20th, baby. Get hyped. Then I played Luigi's Mansion 3.
Don't break my heart on this one.
Oh, there's no hearts to be broken.
That's what I like to hear.
To start with the negative on it, I definitely got the claw hand going on for a lot of stuff.
Were you playing with the Pro Controller?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's the thing is like this game now you're using the dual analog stick to aim it.
Sure.
And with the amount of like it's much more advanced than Luigi's Mansion 1 on
Sure.
GameCube. There's a lot more functionality of like charging up your flashlight to do the blast, then you can suck or you can blow. You can have all the fun that you want to do. But then there's a lot of other mechanics like that you can turn things dark, whatever. You have Luigi now who can do all these different things. Luigi's Mansion is such an awesome concept. The style's great. The comedy of it is very subtle, and I enjoy that, where it's like all the different ghosts have such personality, and trying to figure out the puzzle, like what the puzzle is, and then what the answer to the puzzle is, and then the action that you get as the reward, the ghost busting part. They just got that down to a science, man. And like going from room to room, it just feels so good. So many dumb little secrets. Like,
that's great.
And Greg,
yeah,
I have one thing for you.
Sure.
That is just gonna maybe, without you even playing it, make sure that you give them one of your Game of the Shows. The D-pad. Guess what it does?
Plays a Ghostbusters theme?
No. Depending on which direction you do, you make him say Mario.
Oh, wow.
In different ways. Yeah.
Mario.
And I was like, they know who their audience is.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That stuff was fun. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion's gonna be.
I can't fucking
It's
wait.
gonna be great.
You know
it's
how
gonna be
I'm
really
like-
good. The hotel aesthetic was awesome.
Yeah.
Like the story, at least in the bit that we saw, was the ghosts are stealing the elevator buttons, so you can't go to the floor because they have it. So like the different bosses, you need to like
You beat them, you
It's
get it,
cool
you go to a new
stuff,
place.
man.
Yeah.
The Luigi stuff was weird, and the kind of puzzles we had to do with it were very like, I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah,
Just
they're
get
like brain
it
dead
done.
early stuff. Yeah.
But you can see how it's going to get crazy because it's like you can separate and you can actively change who you're in control of.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, there's this elevator that you need to like put a fan on this thing to make it spin to make the elevator go down. So it's like you blow and then it goes down. Then Luigi goes in, Luigi does the other thing, and then you suck to make it go up.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, I get it. But then there's like key things where there's like a leak, and if water gets on Luigi, he dies.
Oh no!
And so it's like you got to be careful. It's like, oh, he can't be here. Then it's cool.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, that one was a lot of fun.
That's just in 2019, right? We're predicting October.
2019,
obviously.
predicting October. It might be December now if it slips because Animal Crossing isn't there anymore.
I noticed.
But yeah, not that was ever confirmed, but I didn't
They said
imagine it would have been.
2019.
But yeah, that was it. That was it for me for Nintendo.
Oh, that's all you did for Nintendo.
Yeah, they also had Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. I was
But only
with
Barrett
that.
Courtney likes those games.
They had new Super Lucky's Tale. I was like,
But nobody liked that game.
I didn't for sure. That was it.
All right. So while all that happened,
Yeah.
I went to one CD Projekt Red, where I saw Scott Porter. I saw Per Schneider, Damon Hatfield, a woman from WB none of you would know. On the way out, afterwards, I saw my friend from Control, Tomas. And that's pretty much all the people I saw there.
Wow. And ladies and gentlemen, that. So I got Cyberpunk tomorrow.
You do, and so that's why it's like I want to talk a lot about it, but I don't want to spoil stuff.
I mean, that's the thing. We're gonna have a conversation tomorrow. Snowbike Mike's joining us. He also
has seen it as well too.
But I want something from you. I want to know what are your like kind of like top level.
I'm coming into the focus. Hold on, do this thing. There it is. No, yes, no. I can't make it focus anymore. Come back with me. Let me go forward like that. If you're an audio listener, we're trying to focus the camera because now it's just not working. Or at least focus on my fingers for a second. And then if we come back, fuck it. Who cares? It's E3.
Yeah.
Who gives a flying fuck? Crack the beers. For sure, Cyberpunk is getting my Kind of Funny approved award. My first so far given out for anything I've seen. In terms of, I think it's a game that is. I will be floored if you go tomorrow and it's not your game of the show.
Really?
Yeah, and I know we gave it game of the show last year.
Yeah.
So you're like, I know what I'm getting into. You don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Like, I tweeted about it, and I know it sounds stupid, I'm sure. And I went, like, literally, the convention center here, the entire walk, I'm trying to figure, how do I frame this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you tweet or, what is my concise thought on this game from a top level? And what I came up with, right, is like, this is a video game like I have never seen in my life. And I'm not even talking about it being in the industry. I'm talking about it in my life as a video gamer. Like, you watch this demo and you think you have your head wrapped around like the little things we take for granted in games. You know what I mean? Of like, oh, like, you run it. They have you going up to kill some people, and they're like the animals, right? And they're like they call them like a jacked out like bros from the gym, right? They're all like looking like Bane or like Arkham villains, right? And you're like, oh, I understand this. And when you kill them, and you'll start snapping their necks and doing that thing and takedowns or whatever, and you're dropping them, and they're going down like a Fallout person would or whatever. And you're like, I get it, I understand this. And then like they brought out this weapon, nano wires. And they start with, they're like neon wires like this, so it looks like piano wires. Like, oh, you're gonna choke them over, right? And instead they start slashing with them, and they start lopping arms off on where they're connecting and lopping off heads, and you're like, that's nothing like how a Fallout villain would lose their limb, or like, because you wouldn't do that. You shoot them and they go, oh, and fall down, right? Or how if you hit an Arkham villain, how they would go down. It's that kind of weird shit. And the way the game layers things you think you understand about games, but don't. Like, you're in a giant open environment, and suddenly you're shooting, and again, if you're taking the Fallout perspective, or traditional open world games, like, there's limitations to that. But they're shooting, and they shoot like a tree, and the tree, like, explodes and comes down. You're like, so it's got destructible environments on top of characters that can be hurt this way, on top of this. And then to go through, as they start like leveling up the character and what that means and the variations of it, that you're not like locked to a class system. Like, they have throughout the demo 2 different builds. They're like, you can't do this, but we're doing it for you. We're switching between them so you see the differences. And again, they're very clear of like, there's literally like, you have your attributes, right, in terms of what you'll put your points into. And it's the ones I wrote down, right, are like, your body, your reflex, your tech, your ability, your coolness.
Hell
and like, coolness, like they show you all that, and they put the points at the beginning of the demo, and then it's a 55-minute demo or whatever. Towards the back of it, they jump back in and show you like the sealed trees, and it's like coolness is up here, and that starts giving you like abilities like your assassination, and it's like, oh, you see like the things that whereas like body is like strength and all this different stuff, and so is that of the hacking and the stealth and how do you want to do this, and like you can put them wherever you want, so you can have a super strong hacker, or you can not do that way. And it's the thing of, we're going through and they hack the system so that they could open doors and turn things against each other. So they're turning off cameras, they're moving undefined, and they had these hacker points, so they were able to hack the bionics of other people, which meant like, you see this dude, like, he gets hacked, and he's like, his hand, he like grabs his own hand, the hand comes out and pulls a pin on his own grenade, and he explodes.
Oh.
And then there's another one where the dude grabs his own gun and brings it up and blows his brains out.
Oh my god.
And it's like, what the and then it's like, they played a lot of the demo that way, and then it was the jump to like, let's show you a strong, I think they called it strong body. Let's show you that. And so we had already hacked all the shit and like we haven't hacked anything now in this playthrough. And so how do you get through these doors? Like, you go poof, and you rip them open like fucking Superman. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I'm doing that now. I want all that shit.
Wow, man.
And everything they showed was so fucking cool. And it was just like, wow, what the fuck? And then it explains the Keanu character, right, of, what was it, Johnny Silverhand?
Yeah.
Of like, your character is V. We learned that in the last demo at E3. Johnny Silverhand is haunting V. So it's this thing like only V sees Johnny Silverhand there, and Johnny Silverhand is doing like the, come the fuck on, man, we gotta go, like, do this thing. And he's not haunting him like, oh, like, I'm bad. But it's like, he's the one talking to you, and like hacking in the story and the choices, and you choose your backstory, and then that influences what you can say at this given times. Like, it's all taking place in Night City, which is between San Francisco and LA.
Oh, cool.
And so then, it's not all taking, that's where the main story is. The demo you're going to see takes place in Pacifica.
What?
Yeah. But it's Pacifica in the future.
Hometown of Sean Finnegan?
This cyberpunk future that is like, it was being built to be this place for the rich and the famous to live on their yachts and drink their champagne and shit like that. But in the middle of building it, like, there was a recession, so it didn't happen, so it's all this different stuff. They're using a mod, right? Because you choose your own mod to put in your character and do this stuff. They're using a mod that allows the character to understand foreign languages. So the people you're working with are talking like with the French Creole, and so as they don't translate it like so you hear it. If they're talking in this Creole accent or the Creole language or whatever, it comes up as that, and then it slowly deciphers as you see it above their head like captions. It's just the game.
I can't wait.
The game is amazing, and like I can't say enough, and I don't want to blow smoke because obviously it's a preview. We've only seen 2 things. Will it all hold up? Yada yada yada. But like,
will it?
I think it will.
Man.
And I'm saying that based on the fact that this is CD Projekt Red. They killed it with The Witcher. You know what I mean? Like, they know what they're doing. They've been working on this game. They have the technology and the resources. They understand what people want out of their RPGs. And of course, I don't mean to be like I'm shaken, but like, I thought after that Days Gone preview, like, oh, man, Days Gone is gonna be awesome, right? And I did not think that came together at the end. I guess here it's the same thing. It's a preview and all these different things, but like, I look at this game and I'm just like, I can't imagine the things they're doing getting boring because it is so diverse and it is so much of a choice and it is, all these abilities you're unlocking and going, and the gunplay does look fun. The abilities you're doing look like it is that change, the choices, you know what I mean, of like coming up and getting to these moments where he's like, all right, Cole, this is a choice that will change dramatically how the rest of the game plays out and like which way they go in the demo and how it's all going to play out. Like, obviously we'll get into this tomorrow with Snowbike and you after you've played. Let me see if there's any other. Huh? Oh, I've seen it. Sorry, yeah, exactly. We didn't play it. This was done beforehand. No, I mean, that's the best. I mean, that's top level.
Yeah.
I mean, without getting...
Dude, I'm super sold, and I'm going to be surprised if anything can beat Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I'm going to try to... I'm like...
You should try to see it, man. I don't know if it's going to be possible at all. Like, it's the hot one, besides Cyberpunk.
Sure. But, people love it.
That everyone's trying to get into. But I would love for you to play it because like it goes so far beyond what I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it was just going to be like, oh man, I love this game. I love Final Fantasy, specifically 7. Like, this is going to be cool. It's so much more
that's
than
the exact way I feel about CD Projekt or Cyberpunk. Is you're like, sure, we left last one being like, that game was awesome and it was cool. And I don't mean to be weird about it, but like we've seen a lot of games since then, so it has been like, oh yeah, I remember we loved it. It was a cool RPG or whatever. And like sitting there and doing it, it's just like it's like. It's not only the fact of everything I just said gameplay. It's not only this destructible tree. It's not only choose your own adventure. It's not only dialogue. It's not only your ability to build this thing. It's walking through this place and like look for it. Because I started looking for it and it's just like, they aren't repeating NPCs. Yeah. And this isn't like we are in a camp that only has 14 people in it so it makes sense. Like, you're in these giant fucking areas and everything feels so alive and so varied and so different. And it's just like, I can't wait to get in there and invest into what my character is going to be. And I said this last year and I'll say it again too, of like, I feel like for the first time, this is going to be a game I play where I really role play, where I do pick a backstory and then I make choices based on that, rather than like, cool, there's choices in The Witcher, but like I'm gonna be a good guy. Like, he's a hero, you know what I mean? Or like I'm gonna play Fallout as a good guy. I'm gonna play
role play.
Exactly. This one's gonna be like, I want to do this, and do I trust this person? Do I want to sell out this other person? Like, the game's flooring me, man.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, everything about it is so spectacular. Like, based on the conversation we're having, and maybe this analogy doesn't go all the way, and I know it doesn't. So don't like take this out of context. But I feel like what I've seen of Cyberpunk reminds me of Inception, where I'm like, I have never seen a movie like this.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
That's a great way to put it.
This is so different, and that ended up being amazing.
Yeah.
Where I was like, it did it. It lived up to how spectacular and, like, never before seen that was. Final Fantasy VII Remake, seeing it, and this is where I don't want to get caught up in the context, it reminds me so far of the year going into Force Awakens, where... I'm not even necessarily talking about Force Awakens. I'm definitely not talking about what happened after and like just where Star Wars is at. But that hype and that feeling of like, oh my God, even after the prequels, they're getting everything right.
Yeah.
That trailer, the Chewie We're Home, the music they were putting out, the character designs, and all that stuff, everything was just like, oh my God, they are nailing this, and I would have never thought they were. That's how I feel about Final Fantasy VII Remake, playing it today, where I was like, oh my God!
They're doing it.
If they're doing it, and like I did not believe in them, and like it's so much more than I would have ever expected after the prequels. Yeah. And then Force Awakens came out, and I really liked it, and I think that in hindsight I like it less. But I feel like that 7 has the chance to really be something very, very special. That's more than just a remake of one of my favorite games.
Wow.
You know. But we'll have to see tomorrow, man.
We will have to wait.
Cyberpunk. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for our our day one
Gorilla.
that's actually 2, that's actually 18 E3 coverage. Thank you so much for your support the entire week for all of our watch-alongs. If you didn't get to see any of them because you watched the actual press conferences, now go back, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Watch our reactions to some things. That could be fun.
Watch the Kind of Funny Games showcase too.
Oh, and that too. That's the thing that happened that now feels like it was a year ago.
Yeah, right.
But no, it was 2 days ago, 3 days.
days
I
ago.
don't even know. We'll be back tomorrow. Go to twitter.com/kindoffunnyvids. I'm sure that there will be details on timing of when you can watch us live on GameSpot stage.
No, we're live at 7, right?
I don't know.
Pretty sure it's 7.
Pretty sure. If you want to know for sure, go there. We're going to do that, and then Gamescast on Monday with our final E3 thoughts. That's gonna be
The thing we film tomorrow with GameSpot will go up as a Kind of Funny video and audio podcast the next day.
Friday. Yeah. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.